Welcome back to the Voice of CX Africa with Steven Kagame, your host today, and my co-host,
Laura Minde.
And we are back again with a conversation that is very pertinent to African setting, and that is the CX revolution in Africa and why customer experience defines business success.
Exactly. I'm super excited to talk about this topic.
Yes,
because
ma'am.
everything rises and falls around customer experience, especially in the customer experience economy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, Laura,
Yeah.
let's start with the fundamentals. Mm-hmm. What does customer experience actually mean? Mm-hmm. And why should businesses care?
That's a very good starting point because we need to identify what customer experience is versus customer service, because we use these terms interchangeably, not knowing that there's a distinctive difference between these two. So when we talk about first customer service, the popular one, and by the way, it's Customer Service Week. Happy Customer Service.
Happy Customer Service Week. For those that are doing amazing things out there, please keep doing them. Don't just do them for the week only. Please make sure it's consistently done in your day-to-day activities. Happy Customer Service Week.
Exactly. So when we say customer service, to me, customer service is a reactive process. It's not a proactive process. Customer service means you are dealing with problems. You're resolving an issue.
Yeah.
Versus customer experience, which is the total experience that a customer has to go through, the journey from the moment you receive me to the moment I consume your service to the moment of advocacy. So it's the total journey and the different touch points that a customer goes through to experience your brand or your product. Whereas customer service is just like, there's a problem, I call a customer service line. It's like example of a telecom company. When there's a problem, who do you call? Customer service.
Customer service, yes.
Because customer service is a department, but customer experience is not a department. It's a culture.
It's a culture.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I hope that this is a little bit clear. What do you think? What's your take on this? What's the difference between customer experience and customer service?
So, Laura, for me, I would just give it from an experience point of view. Customer service is a nurse picking up a call when a patient calls them to ask them something about their medicine or anything they need to know about their care.
Yes.
And customer experience is basically proactive.
Yes.
In this particular case, a patient is going to be able to find you when they need you.
Yes.
It's going to be able to have an answer when they need it. And it all drives through to when you actually call them, when they have left your hospital or any place, be it your hotel, 3 days after, to know how they found your service. It's basically end to end, but it is you being able to, create, anticipate how a customer is going to navigate every touch point of their journey.
Yes.
And then create a journey for them that is very seamless.
Yes.
By removing any friction point, removing anything that would bar them from getting what they have to get.
Yes.
So it's basically thinking about the customer before they start interacting with you.
I like that. And so for me, I would summarize it like one is a long-term relationship, one is just a reaction.
Exactly.
That there's a crisis, I have to resolve, or there's a question, I have to answer. Yeah, okay.
So that's something that I feel is very important for our audience to understand, that customer service is reactive. Customer experience is proactive.
Exactly.
In other words, what sustains your business is customer experience.
Exactly.
Customer service is just a one you're going to just react. And this is going to take me to my next conversation of, Laura, what example could you give me of moments where great customer service has exposed the insufficiency in customer experience of organizations? For example, the time a pharmacist had to wait long to be able to fill a prescription. That for me shows that there's a gap in the processes. Even when they did it, something should have been done to avoid them being, waiting long to be able to fill a prescription.
Right.
Maybe having the medicine available before the patient comes, or making sure that the doctors are aware about the drugs available, so they don't prescribe things that are not available.
Right.
Or many other things that you could probably give an example, maybe in the hospitality industry. What are those moments where we've had service recovery, but it shouldn't have happened in the first place?
Yeah, I like this question, and I can go to hospitality. So, for example, you go to a hotel and you're ordering your favorite chicken wings. You have anticipated, you've been dreaming about them, and when you got there, the waiter told you, yes, I would place your chicken wings in the kitchen. So there you are waiting. They go to the kitchen, they place your order. They come back 5 to 10 minutes later. Kagame, I'm sorry, but the chicken wings are out of stock. We don't have them anymore.
Yes.
So how would that make you feel like as a customer? It gets you frustrated, it gets you angry. So now comes the service recovery. How would they please me as a customer that my favorite chicken wings are not there? What would they do? So the person can apologize and tell me, okay, they're going to bring me, I don't know, chicken breast instead with the complimentary chips on the house. Great. And give me an extra soda, whatever they will do, the service recovery process, and then maybe I am pleased. But this should not have happened if they had proper customer experience, because why? They needed to anticipate. What businesses are missing is that they don't understand the trends and the patterns of their own businesses. That if chicken wings are constantly running out, then it could be the ones that are the most requested in your establishment. So what do you do to set the systems and processes in place that when we are low in stock, we inform the supplier that the chicken wings need to already be there?
That's true.
So that means you need to revisit your customer journey mapping, to revisit not only just as a full business picture, but the customer journey mapping in the kitchen, customer journey mapping at the front line, the waiters, to understand when we are low in stock, how do we communicate that to ensure that this doesn't happen to our customers in the future? So one is the experience, proactively setting up systems and processes to ensure that we don't reach to the point where a customer complains and then we have to do the service recovery, which comes in the form of customer service.
Exactly. That's a very, very astounding example, because looking at it from, if at all we were prudent enough, we would have actually anticipated this.
Yes.
And avoided that I call it firefighting.
Exactly.
People love to do a lot of firefighting, and it's because of them not being able to walk that journey of the customer before the journey comes.
Yes.
It's what I love to call empathy mapping.
Exactly. And even like just recently, I wrote a piece of an article on the New Times, and I was talking about the banking sector.
Yes.
The processes, they are so cumbersome. They are so frustrating. And not only for me, I'm pretty sure there's many other customers who feel the same as me. We say in customer experience that one customer who complains, there is probably 10 others who didn't say what the issue is.
Yeah.
So for example, the issue was that they gave me a password to my bank account. However, after a couple of days, this password expires if you don't activate it. So it expired. So I contacted them because they have a number. They have a number that you can call when you have a problem. So you call the number, and then you're told, to speak to this, dial 1. You dial 1. The next person, and to do this, you dial 3. You dial 3. So I found myself in like almost 10 minutes of just dialing different numbers and nobody actually picking up the telephone. And then what's worse, the phone automatically just cut off and says, your complaint has been recorded. I'm like, but I didn't say anything to anyone. So the complaint was recorded. Moments later, I get a text message saying that this is your code number for your complaint. Somebody's dealing with it. But my question was, how do they know what I'm going to be complaining about? I mean, maybe because I dialed, 1 for password issues. But still, you didn't get to hear what my issue was. Fast forward, I wait a couple of days. No one said anything. I still don't have a password. So I decided to now look for them on their WhatsApp. No answer, an automated answer again. No real person resolving an issue. So it's an automated reply. So eventually I said, you know what, let me just go to the bank. Getting a password, I had to queue for 1 hour. 1 hour just to speak to the person at the front to tell them that I forgot a password. And when you did get to the front as well, she was like, or they were like, oh, don't you see the queue? There's other people here. They have the same issue as you. So my thinking was that if all these people have the same issues, shouldn't you be revisiting your process on how you handle such complaints? Because we need to learn from mistakes that happen. We can't just say that it's the norm of life, that everybody else is complaining about the same thing, so deal with it. So again, we're going back to the customer experience versus customer service.
Exactly.
So that's, in a nutshell, for me, is like, we need to really take feedback seriously. And when we're given this feedback, we need to go back to the drawing board and have that empathy that you just talked about and put the right systems and processes to make the lives of our customers less frustrating.
Laura, that's a very powerful example. And I would love to actually now draw from your conversation of they created a calling system that wasn't solving the problem of the customer.
No.
And this brings me to the conversation of, is technology an enabler in us being able to, make the experience of a customer better, or sometimes we need technology when our systems are already audited, like they're already aligned, because technology just comes in to make it easy.
Yeah.
But it can't make it easy with a system that is broken.
Yeah.
So you're telling me of how you struggle to, to put out your complaint on phone. You struggle to get support because they put an automated system of, call, dial this. It's very daunting. And, the one thing that, customers, even if it's, a new customer,
Yes.
prospective customer, the one thing that they don't want is waiting time.
Exactly.
Call waiting is the one thing that people don't want to get into.
Very frustrating.
It's very frustrating.
Yes.
So I imagine, what do you think technology can be used for? Because in this particular case, technology failed them.
It did.
It did fail. They thought things were working.
Yes.
But no one is there to follow up and know, okay, what system gaps are we having? What glitches are available that are making the customer journey very, very, very daunting, very painful.
Yes.
Because that was a pain point.
It was.
If you had to get into a car, buy fuel to go and resolve a problem.
For one password.
Just imagine that.
Yes.
I feel there's a problem. What is technology helping us in this particular case? And are we using it in the way it has to be used?
I think you already answered the question yourself, because we first need to understand our own businesses and our own, like the pain points of our customers and our process, our daily processes. What are the aspects that we can automate?
Yes.
What are the aspects that we still need that human interaction? And to me, I feel like when it comes to dealing with complaints or anything that's frustrates the customer in terms of what they already paid for, a human needs to intervene. So I don't know at what point that they needed to have a human intervene, but not to make them through all this dialing processes and no human ever intervening. Because at the end of the day, even on like on airlines, when you have an issue, you always chat with a bot. And the bot can never give you that right answer that you're looking for. The bot can never give you that empathy, that understanding where you're coming from. It just gives you these very scripted messages that, okay, chat to this, which feels disconnected. And it just gets you more frustrated.
Exactly.
And so sometimes I just write random things on the computer so that it says, I see that you want to chat to our assistant. And I'm like, yes, I do want to chat to a real human being.
Yes.
Because the real human being can put things into perspective. They can be able to answer or resolve my problem faster than a bot, because a bot will just keep me going again in circles and asking me questions endlessly when I'm already frustrated. So it just keeps my frustrating hotter.
Yes,
but if I was to deal with a human, they'll be like, oh, Kagame, I'm so sorry you had to go through this. Just that fact that maybe you called me by my name, maybe you acknowledge and you apologize, already diffuses the situation. A bot can never do that. And that's why I'm saying this technology is not going to replace the human touch. At the end of the day, we need the human connection. People who understand, empathize, and make you feel valued. Because this technology does not make me feel valued.
Wow.
And at the end of the day, customer experience is about how you make people feel.
That's very powerful. It's about how you make people feel. And now it takes me back to the part of, recently I was reading a certain report and they were like, once your contact center is empowered enough, it reduces escalation by 60%.
Yes.
In other words, problems are solved real time if you get to empower your teams that are customer facing. That person who's supposed to receive that call.
Yes.
So I think for that particular case, they should have had a direct call to the call center.
Yes.
And get someone to pick up. Have people that are very available at all times to make sure they pick up those calls and resolve those matters. I imagine it shouldn't have taken you driving to the very bank.
And then worse was to fill a form, which takes you time to fill the forms, and then send it and queue again, and then take it back to the desk person. So this is something that you need to, as a business, to revisit. Where can you minimize these frictions for your customer? Can you make the process easy? I mean, I imagine a telephone call about a password shouldn't take you more than 10 minutes to resolve. It shouldn't.
It shouldn't. And I think that's where we need to now understand our processes and systems, because I want to bring in technology with a clear process.
Yes.
Because technology just comes in as an enabler. It doesn't take away the human connection or the human aspect and obligation.
Yes.
And I think that's what many companies are missing out. They are so
Exactly.
driven by the bubble of technology and AI, and they're trying to relegate human-related conversations to AI. And sometimes,
Then I
this
remember the
kind of-
last
yeah.
conversation we had. I told you about another experience that I had. I complained about a certain hotel, and then they replied using ChatGPT.
Just imagine
I mean,
that.
ChatGPT is an enabler. It's supposed to help you think faster, but
Exactly.
not copy and paste exactly as is, because it loses that connection.
That's it.
You're supposed to edit, tweak it, give it that personality, give
Yes.
it that humanity, give it that authenticity, then send it through, but not copy paste as it, because you can tell. You can tell when something
I
is.
mean, we are human beings, and
Yeah.
it's human as human beings. We feel after things that are human,
Yes.
so you can tell whether something is automated or something is actually
You can
human.
tell. You can tell. Exactly.
So I think brands should actually put that into consideration. That once you're trying to make the customer journey very easy, know the points where you're going to need a human being behind that call,
Yeah.
or you're going to need a human being to answer that complaint or feedback.
Yes.
So, talking about customer experience, Laura, much of the time we have challenges trying to convince people in the key decision-making unit about why we need to invest in customer experience.
Yes.
What are some of the examples that you could probably recommend out there for people who are maybe in senior management, line managers, that are coming up with proposals in terms of, budget allocation, to really communicate in a way that their CEOs, the people that are supposed to decide on whether we should invest in customer experience or not, need to actually go down that road? Because return on investment is a conversation that many of these people love to understand. They love to hear numbers.
Yes.
They don't want to hear what is customer experience. So in which way can these people be able to communicate it to their seniors for them to now align and be like, okay, I think this is going to give us long-term value if we invest our time or resources in it?
Okay. That's a very powerful question.
Yes.
So first, I would like to start with a research done by TWC.
Yes.
And they found that 86% of people are willing to pay more for good experience. So let that sink in first. 86 are willing to pay more.
Yes.
For good experiences. So this automatically equals return on investment.
Exactly.
That if you empower your team to be able to deliver exceptional experiences, then somebody is going to be willing to pay you more. And I can give also an example on my own stories. That I can go to a shop where the servers are friendly, warm, welcoming. They know how to resolve issues faster. That I would buy their product even if it's not the best. But because every time I go there, I am made to feel like a queen. Like the only one that matters in this world. Like I'm the only paying customer for them.
Yes.
And that's what I would pay for every single time. Not because of the product, the features, but because of the experience itself, how the person makes me feel. So business owners need to understand and do their research. How many businesses out there have they increased their return on investment just purely on customer experience? And even for them to do just a simple example.
Yeah.
For example, if you're in a restaurant, you did recently maybe a customer experience training for your team. Record what was the revenue before this training, and then what is the revenue after the training. Because after the training, what you should be seeing is friendlier staff, engaging team, more sales that are happening naturally because somebody feels like they are valued. And so if these are put on the record, then the top management can be able to show the team, like, look, listen, if we're able to implement this, this is how much we can increase our return on investment, right? What do you think? What are your thoughts? I'll be curious to know about that.
No, that's a very, very powerful example. And akin to what you've just said, there's an experience I had of a patient who wanted to meet a particular surgeon with a certain qualification. Now, we had a surgeon with that qualification in one hospital, and then we have another surgeon in another hospital with the same qualification. So they decided to go to Clinic A to meet this surgeon with a certain qualification. Clinic A gave them an experience in the way that the surgeon communicated with the patient, telling them of how the surgery was going to take place in a language they understood. Even before that, actually, they got a call from a nurse telling them about their appointment. Or when you get to the hospital, you're going to meet the doctor. The doctor will take you through this, prepare you for the surgery, and then eventually you have the surgery. Clinic B didn't actually call them. That's why they chose to go to Clinic A.
Exactly.
So Clinic A gave them an experience. They felt like, even when they were paying the same amount of money, they felt like this was the clinic to go to. So it was beyond the qualification. It was the experience. And that gave them an advocate, because this person went out and told people about the experience.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because when they left the hospital, the nurse called them after 3 days, asking them how they were recovering. So the end-to-end experience helps you communicate value to the seniors, to know that, okay, we can only compete on customer experience.
Exactly.
That's the only differentiator that can run us through this very competitive market.
True. And when you look back in the hotels, every hotel has a bed. Every hotel has fancy lights and decor inside. So whatever you put in terms of the goods or products inside, everybody else can catch up with that. But nobody can copy that human connection, that experience. Because in experience, we're talking about educating your customer, entertaining your customer, engaging your customer, all these things that keep them immersed in the journey with you, that when they leave your premises, they're thinking, wow, I need to go back to property A. Because, we are moving actually from customer experience to customer transformation.
Exactly.
That I want, if I leave your establishment, I want to be a changed woman or man. That I'm an advocate of your business. So I think that's it for today, right?
Yeah, today we've actually talked about very important things. And as we come to a close, Laura, there's something that I feel is important for us to also have a conversation about. How do people get to measure success when it comes to, customer experience? Because at the end of the day, you want to be able to create a business case around that. Just now tying it to return on investment. How am I able to measure success from a hospitality perspective, from a banking perspective? What is it that is going to communicate value to my seniors? That when we did A, B, C, D, we got this percentage of retention. We were able to get 20 clients, and out of the 20, we were able to retain, 10. So there's many metrics that people use, but I would love to hear about your perspective to this, that how am I going to be able to measure success? And how is that going to be now, communicated to those that need to make decisions about my next budget allocation?
I think to me, success first starts with your own internal team. Your number one customer is your internal team. So if your team is engaged, switched on, and they buy into the company's vision, then you're already successful. Because if they buy into your vision, then they'll go above and beyond to make sure you meet or exceed your customers' expectation. So invest on your team, empower them, show them the way, and then they will lead the way. So that's, for me, is success, your own internal team. Then,
That's
of course,
amazing.
we can look at the number of returning customers. We can look at in terms of tickets, because, there's some people can return, but the tickets are not increasing or the sales are not increasing. So we can look at the returning customers. Are we having an increase in revenue? We can look at the reputation of the brand. We can look at the net promoter score.
Correct, yeah.
All these are different metrics. But to me, bottom line success starts with your own team.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Employee experience equals customer experience.
Exactly.
That's a very key point. It's like you cannot give what you don't have.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at if your employee experience is great, then the results are inevitable.
It trickles down.
It trickles down.
Or trickles up.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So today is really basically for us giving you a break down about the fundamentals of customer experience, the fundamentals of customer service. These two terms are used interchangeably much of the time. But today we just had sort of like a brief about what it means in our day-to-day business environment. So as we conclude, Laura, what is that one thing you'd want a business owner out there, someone who's trying to put things together? They're trying to their sales have plateaued.
Yeah.
They're getting feedback that is not encouraging, and they actually don't know what to do about the feedback. What is the one thing you would want them to do? Be it or two to three things that you would want them to do to make sure that they have growth, even if it's gradual, even if it's unprecedented growth. But what is that one thing you feel like once you do this, You could start with this because there are many things to do, but you could start with this, and maybe you can add to that by doing this, this, and that to improve your customer experience.
Wow, that's a good question. And you mentioned feedback. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. Go back to what are people saying about you. Start actioning those things because you already have the answers. You already know what they're complaining about.
Yeah.
So go back to the drawing board, look at your TripAdvisor, look at all the social media platforms. What are people complaining about? What are they saying about your business? Then take the necessary action to correct and then communicate with them that we took your feedback seriously and this is what we have done after this feedback. And you will see people coming back because they will see you value their inputs. You value their feedback. So please, if you're out there and you're struggling because of a reason, and the reason is already in plain sight, action it.
That's a very good one. Action it.
Yes.
So listen to what the customer is saying.
Listen to what
and
the customer
action
is
it.
saying, yes.
Show that there is initiative to solve what the customer is dealing with. So, I mean, this has been quite an amazing conversation. And today, literally just giving you a picture of what the CX revolution looks like in our African business landscape. So as we come to a wrap, I would love to just share something very small that you might want to go away with today. So I would love you to, it's more like a CX starter, something you can do to assess your business. The first thing is discovery. Discovery is very important. Would you like to assess, can customers easily find me or learn about me? That's a question you want to ask yourself. Second, accessibility. Is it easy to contact, book, or buy from me? That's the second one. The third is first impression. First impression gives us what's the initial experience like, And then the fourth is consistency. Is the experience predictable across all touch points? And that's what we had a conversation about recently called the omnichannel experience.
Yeah.
And then the fifth is problem resolution. How well do you handle issues? Like Laura was talking about how we deal with complaints. And 6 is emotional connection. Do customers feel valued and understood? That's a question you want to ask yourself. And the 7th is follow through. Do you maintain the relationship post-transaction? These are things that you can try and score yourself on a scale of 1 to 5. And if you're able to see yourself grow in that perspective, you're going to be able to create a very robust customer experience for your teams. And today comes to an end of our conversation about the CX revolution. Laura, any parting shots as we close this?
Well, that's it. I think we've covered quite a lot in such a short time frame, and we hope you found this useful. Don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube at The Voice of Africa, The Voice of CX Africa.
Thank you, Laura. Yeah. So for me, my parting shots are basically for you to have consistent growth, you have to create systems around your growth. And in this case, don't focus on damage control, focus on creating great customer experiences that your clients will have to tell stories about. So remember, people do not care how much you know. People care how much. People only care based on how much you make them feel. It's very important to have that at the back of your mind, that your selling experiences are nothing but experiences. This is it for today, and see you in our next episode. It's been me, Kagame Steven, your CX futurist, and
Laura, your certified hospitality trainer. See you next time.
See you.